What is going on, YouTube? I'm Brandon. You're back in the Gil Strap Garage, and we're gonna call today a little bit of a call it a marathon day. I started at about 10 o'clock this morning. I had to go get a bunch of hardware. Got myself some nice fancy 12-point bolts for a couple spots. I got some sprocket bolts, and it's now 12:34. I'm gonna see how much I can get done probably by about 10 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna try to run this with no interruptions. I don't know how many videos I'm gonna break this up into, but for starters, we're gonna get the front end of the dyno finished. I fit up this, we'll call it like a terminating end, I guess, for eliminating hand controls. It makes it look a little bit cleaner. We're gonna match up, we're gonna do the same thing on the throttle side right now, and then we're gonna get into the Race Tech suspension that I tried doing in the last video. Everything went to hell in a handbasket, and we're gonna get this front end together. Everything except the front fender, I think we will get done today. I might even get to start on some body work on that front fender. Not quite sure what I'm gonna do with that yet, but let's get into this thing. I'm gonna move you around and we're gonna see what it takes to get the, I'll show you. LC Fabrications, there's a brake side and a clutch side, and basically just helps clean everything up real nice. This was not easy to find. Most places were out of stock. I think maybe I don't remember if it was Lowbrow or Deadbeat that had them in stock. Got them on the way. I've had them sitting here for a little while now, but I think it looks pretty nice. They do have black, and I guess it's more of a raw instead of a polished. I could get it a little bit more shiny, but I think it looks all right for now. It's gonna match some of the other raw components that are currently on the bike. Looking all right. I was really hoping to not have to take it off all the way, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. Unless I broke my headlight loose again, which I just got tightened up, but that's all right. It'll slide on this way. It'll only go one way there. We want the flat side towards where the lever's gonna be, and then I'll be able to mount the brake side up after the fact. Let's get our throttle cable back on. $20 foot-pounds on the headlight bolts. There's that. So now when the brake assembly is ready to go back on, I'll already have that there, and that'll be ready. So I think it's time to get into the forks. And I'm no expert on setting up Race Tech suspension, so I think I'm gonna find myself a video and kind of follow that along and just make sure that I get this thing done right. There's a lot going on here between my cardboard list of everything I need to do and all my suspension stuff spread across here, but I promise it's organized chaos. I've got a Cruisy Originals video pulled up on my TV right now on setting up this Race Tech suspension, along with the instructions, and I've got the instructions are available online. I've got my first dampening rod, however you want to say it, damping. I've got my first damping rod set up and marked. We need 6 holes in this damping rod, and they need to be spaced out about 10 millimeters apart from each other for this configuration. I've got a tiny little mark here and here. I'm not just gonna go straight through in case I'm a little bit off, but they need to be about parallel with this hole and about 90 degrees from the side holes. So let's do some punching and some drilling. I've got a tiny little bit here. All right, got my holes drilled in my damping rods. I'm cleaned up, blown out, wiped off. All right, now I'm gonna refer to the Cruzy video to see what he does next. All right, next step, we're gonna be jumping to the gold valves. Wherever they went, right here. Let's see. I'm gonna set them up exactly like he's doing it. So, okay. I'm gonna pull these apart and put a yellow spring in it. I'm gonna kick this old suspension out of the way. A little something I did to make sure that they're both pretty accurate is touch them together. I don't really have any gaps. I got these, whether it's exactly like the video I'm watching or not, they're gonna be pretty close to equal. All right, so we don't got one valve doing more or doing less than the other. Slide my springs in, or on. So earlier off camera on both of my slider assemblies, I went through and I put a little crosshatch in the fork legs. I've got like a ball hone, just ran through it real quick. I don't really want to take material out of there or anything. I cleaned it really, really well. And I kind of lubricated the inside of the walls, cleaned it out again, lubricated it again. So everything's gonna go together with some fresh oil through it. There's one. Might as well do the other. And I don't know if I explained it earlier either. All my bushings, everything are all going to be brand new. If you watched my last video, you'll see where this job actually got put on hold because I didn't have all this. Take a little bit of oil. These fork legs came with new bushings on the bottom. I'm just going to keep these ones on here. Oil these up real good. We're going to slide these springs in temporarily. Don't want to scratch anything up. I'm going to put a little soft spot down. Spread some oil across the fork. Across the tube, I mean. Make sure I've still got a little coat. Put a little more in here. That's a lot. We're gonna get our bolt ready here. Sweet. Let's do the other one. Ha. Almost screwed up. All right, springs are coming back out. $49, $39. Lube up my upper bushing. There are some numbers on these. Numbers will help you identify top up. And we've got, make sure you put your flat side down on your top washer. I'm wrong. Round and down. I was wrong. Drive the bushing in first, he says. Get my circlip. And take my rag here. Stick it in my vise. I've got a washer on top of this gold valve. Let's put a little oil on the sides here. And we're gonna go bombs away. I do want to shine a light down there real quick. My washer's sitting on the valve. All right, now I'm gonna drop the spring in. I'm going to drop on another washer. $11 fluid ounces now. I'm going to pour a little in. I'm going to cycle it a bit. You can hear it gurgling. Take it out of the vise quick and cycle all this oil. All right, took a time out to the store real quick. Stick my washer on there. New O-ring. Fork slider tube cap, 11 to 22 foot-pounds. Does not take much. I'll probably do that when it's back on the bike because I don't know that I'll be able to get it. I'm gonna go slide this leg into place. I'm gonna get readjusted here and we're gonna get my front tire on. We're gonna set our neck bearings, and then I think we're just like another half hour to an hour before the front end of this bike is completely dialed, minus the front fender. But man, we're cooking. I am extremely excited, extremely happy. Starting to look more like a bike. I can't wait to get this camera turned around and show it to you guys. You guys want to see some more confirmation on me being a complete jackass and throwing another speed bump into my own plans? Check this out. If you can tell by looking at this, this is a 1-inch axle. If you can look here into my wheels, I've got a 1-inch bearing. But now, if you look at the new fork legs that I just put on this motorcycle, what does that look like to you? Hold on. Maybe it's not so obvious looking at it. Let me pick up the old fork leg that I took off this bike. Let me hold it up to it. Well, can you see the difference there? I bought 3/4 axle fork legs. I could have sworn that my bike was 3/4 axle in the front and 1-inch axle in the rear. Completely incorrect. It's backwards. It was a 1-inch front and a 3/4 rear. And Allie's 06 is a 1-inch rear and a 3/4 front. So that is completely my mistake, as I've been ordering bearings and everything for, you know, fork legs for me and bearings for her and this and that and everything else. I got them completely backwards. But luckily, my beautiful wife loves to share everything that she has with me. So I'm going to borrow or take or keep or whatever her 3/4 inch axle and her spacers, and it's going to work perfect. And then I'm going to take her 3/4 inch bearings that I just bought for her bike, and I'm going to put them into my front wheel because that will also work. And now I have to order a 3/4 inch axle and some more 3/4 inch bearings, and then I'll have to put those back onto her bike because I'm getting my front end done today. And if all I have to do is change a couple bearings to make that happen, well, that's what I'm going to do. Here's the difference in these two things here. Let me kind of get out of your guys' way so you can see that. 1-inch, 3/4. So now, both of my axles on my bike will be 3/4 inch. What can you do other than laugh about it? I'm going to shut the camera off, put some music on. I hate changing wheel bearings. Luckily, I've got a pretty fresh tool to do it. I'll see you guys when we're getting ready to bolt this thing back on the bike. Time to get my neck bearings set. I think they're a little stiff right now. I've only got my top clamps snug. I guess I should probably get them to torque. 25 foot-pounds. Got a 15/16 socket here. That's obviously way too tight. I like to get it snug pretty close just to make sure everything's set in pretty well. And then I'll start going backwards a little bit. Oh, you know, actually I need to take this nut out. Or I need to take this bolt out and I need to get some Loctite on it. See, this is still a little stiff. Back it off just like a 1/16 of a turn, if that. I think I like the way that feels right there. So I'm gonna get my steering stem, or I'm gonna get my pinch bolt tightened down. We're gonna call that good. So let's get some close-ups on it, but this is pretty much it for the front end. We've got our 3/4 axle in here. I had to rob the spacer out of Allie's front wheel. So I've got Allie a new front axle, a new spacer, and I think that's all she needed. It's like a 3-inch long 3/4 ID spacer. And yeah, so I've got all that stuff in here. Those are brand new wheel bearings. I've got all her wheel bearings removed. I got her wheel bearings replaced in the rear, the 1-inchers. And all I have left to do with the front end on this now is get my windshield on. I don't know if I already said that, but oh, and then for the front end, I just gotta make a little spacer for this guy here, so I can use hopefully use my cruise control. That's no big deal. Just, you gotta come up with a little adapter here. And then I've got these spacers on here, which I really like. I like the way they turned out. Not having those, not having the switches on there, it really cleans up the look of the bike. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna reassess. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna tackle next. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your support, no matter how you show it. I will see you guys in the next video.